Kane had grand ideas for adventures. The activities were meant to be fun, a key ingredient to fight boredom, while also entertaining the invisible audience of the digital circus. But what Kane didn't realize, or more was programmed to entirely ignore, was the mental strain it had on the formerly human characters of the digital circus. Primarily his and the audience's favorite Pomni especially. The anxious gesture was a hit, but as he floated above them after another finished adventure, he looked down at a collection of mud-covered, disheveled, and quite-beat characters, their arms hanging lifelessly down.
What an adventure, everyone! You did great!
You made us dig for worms, growled Ragatha.
As I explained, the wibbly-wobbly worms were a danger to the circus.
That still doesn't excuse us randomly digging through dirt, shouted Jax, pointing at the ringmaster with a shaking hand. How some of them randomly jump out of the dirt to bite us, cried Gangle.
My. Where's this spirit, this energy coming from? I thought this adventure was terribly amazing, in fact.
You crossed your arms and scoffed. It's called anger, Kane.
I see. But this is exactly what our audience wants. Excitement, emotions, and presentation.
Kane, the next time you make an adventure like this, we just take our clothes off. Then you need to censor everything for your precious audience. Chuckled Jax darkly, which netted him embarrassed glances from everyone else, including you. What? Where did that come? Ragatha quickly put a hand on Pomni's mouth. She saw through Jax's lie, and Pomni probably shouldn't ruin this. Yeah, totally. We're like, gonna get naked and all that. You stuttered, your heart pounding in utter embarrassment. Pomni struggled in Ragatha's grasp. Seemed as if she hasn't caught on yet.
Well, I can't let you do that. That would be inappropriate.
If you spawn new clothes on us, we take those off too. Kane felt like he was in a pickle here. He thought for a moment. It had been a few weeks ago. Surely none of them remembered the conversation. As an adventure reward, a 90s anime had been played on the big cinema screen inside of the circus's lobby, though it happened to be a simple filler episode. And that's where he learned that sometimes shows put a frivolous and useless to the plot adventure in the mix, to both show how characters interacted without plot interference, and to let them relax. Kane snapped his fingers, and suddenly everyone was cleaned up from the grime and dirt. At the same time, duct tape had appeared over everyone's mouth.
Well, you may be wondering why I silenced you all. You see, I can't think with so much noise around, he shouted triumphantly. I have made a controversial decision, and as a reward for today's adventure, not only will I be telling you about tomorrow's adventure, I will also give you access to the Digital Circus's VIP bar for the rest of the day.
Okay, I bite. What's the adventure, Kane? Said Jax after he ripped the duct tape off.
Oh, Jax, I love it when you show enthusiasm. We should put that word on all of your overalls.
I'm not wearing a literal pun, Kane. That's below even me.
Understood. Anyways, tomorrow's adventure is called Flying Sparks. I hope you will enjoy it.
With a flick of Kane's wrist, you and the other characters are teleported into white, tiled rooms with a singular wooden mannequin NPC inside. Surprised, you looked around. You were alone. The NPC was holding a white towel. Next to it was a massage table. A small round pool was behind you, filled with turquoise water that emitted a fine mist. While you were looking around, you didn't notice the NPC approach you. After all, they only moved when no one was looking. As you turned to look at it, it was right in front of you, holding up the towel. On it, a neatly folded, black, very modest swimsuit, like those old 70s ones. Reluctantly, you took it. And after you blinked, the mannequin changed its position to point at a wooden door that hadn't been there a second ago, leading to changing rooms. You spent the rest of the day being pampered by the NPC. He gave you food, massaged your back, and kept you company in the hot tub. Honestly, you had to admit, if this treatment was repeated once every while, you may never abstract. This felt great. But considering abstraction seemed to be the goal of the digital circus, you didn't dare attempt getting used to this treatment. Even the bluff of getting naked during the show would only work so often. It was what seemed to be the next day. You had fallen asleep in the hot tub some point, and had now woken up in your bedroom, dressed in a rather tacky nightgown that you never worn before. You were used to the circus teleporting you around against your consent, but you knew Zubul and Pomni had problems with that. Oh well. As you stepped outside after changing into your regular clothes, you were met by the others. For once, they seemed relaxed, just like you. You guys should threaten to get down dirty more often, sighed Zubul, pleased as she scratched herself. I don't really have the physique for that, she joked. First time I'm hearing self-deprecation from you, Zubi. You chuckled. Screw you, balloon boops. That was the insult. But you did provoke it. So you didn't really care to fight back. You and the others entered the stage area expectantly, where you were met with uncaring silence. Well, he isn't here, said Jack, shrugging. I'm going back to bed. Not even waiting more than 10 seconds. Though, just as he turned around, came teleporter on stage. Morning, or should I say, good afternoon. Afternoon? Asked Ragatha, concerned. She had set up a calendar for herself just to keep some routine, and this completely threw her out of it. Yes, precisely. Why else did you think I gave you a liminal spa experience you can't find anywhere else, not even in the back rooms? Well, I needed everyone to be completely relaxed and ready to go for today's adventure. Remember, sparks fly. Oh, Ragatha, you usually are the smartest one here. I thought you'd at least remember. About that, you didn't explain what that meant. Are you going to set us on fire? Ganga sounded concerned. That was on purpose, Ganga, my dear. Sparks Fly is going to be my interpretation of a filler episode. Concerned, everyone looked at each other. Okay, I'm out. Oh, no, Zubul! Kane teleported next to the take-apart toy, placing an arm around her shoulder.
Can't you imagine it? An adventure specifically designed to not cause you infernal pain for the entertainment of our lovely audience. An adventure where you can just relax and our dear fans will still see it as an incredibly entertaining adventure and make excuses as to why it is absolutely necessary for character development.
Zuba blinked. Right. She was completely taken aback by Kane being so hands-on that she forgot to be dismissive.
So if everyone please left the tent for the main entrance, please,
said Kane triumphantly as he floated up, pointing his cane towards a set of double doors. The interesting thing about the Digital Circus's entrance was that their location randomly changed every day, and it was difficult more often than not to reach the circuses outside. Having Kane literally point at it for once was a nice change of pace. Kane led everyone towards the lake. It was a track you honestly could have done without. The ringmaster constantly attempting to sing a hiking song. The sun NPC was already putting on its sleeping cap to ring in the night sky. When you and the others arrived at the lake, something new was set up there. A large stone platform with a grill and a few benches with tables were arranged on it. "Are we having a barbecue, Kane?" asked Pomni, confused. She really tried her best to sound positive, but she felt that something terrible was going to happen any second.
"Yes, Pomni. As a matter of fact, we are having a barbecue."
You sat down on one of the benches. From somewhere, music was playing. And from the nearby foresty area of the circuses outside, a large group of mannequins suddenly appeared. They could walk while being looked at. Where their mouths would be if they were human, were speakers placed in that played the ambience of people talking. It honestly looked more threatening than it should be. Jax nervously sat down next to you as you watched the NPCs approach. They scattered around the stone platform, some manning other grills, some were smaller and were playing catch or hide and seek. Huh. Jax exhaled. "You know, I was just thinking of doing that." He chuckled in response. "So, do you have any plans, Jax?" He put a hand on his chin.
"I must admit, for once, no. This is probably the circus's most pleasant moment, and I'm concerned over what would happen if I ruined it."
You looked over at the others. Kinger was kneeling on the ground, drawing swirls on the ground with a piece of chalk one of the NPC children had provided him, while Gangle was gluing one of her masks back together at another table. "Honestly," you said, "I can't help but feel anxious." This earned you a sarcastic look from the bunny man. I know, I sound like Pomni, but it's not because I think Kane has planned anything stupid for this. I think he is really trying to be nice and we should not sabotage it. It's more the thought of tomorrow. But this all will not matter. Again, this is, as he said, literally filler. Jax exhaled through his teeth with a quiet hiss. "Yeah, I get ya." He grinned. Well, Butter." Jax looked at you. "If nothing matters today, let me do the first, who shows some character development." You exhaled through your nose, amused. "And what would that—" You interrupted by lips pressing onto yours. Your eyes widened. Jax had both leaned forward to kiss you. In fact, He had come with such force that his face squeezed your bulbous nose, creating a loud toot. The circus had turned you into Butter the Clown. The name was given to you by Kane, and it had been the third attempt at giving you a randomly generated one. You were a paper white-skinned clown with big eyes. Depending on your mood, your pupils would change shape, turning into the images of flames when mad, or, like right now, turning into hearts as you felt Jax embrace you. You usually wore frilly pink dresses and had long pink pigtails. Your hair looked like cotton candy, smelling and tasting like it too. Luckily it didn't melt in water. And similar to Zubul, who could take herself apart and put back together, and Gangle's super flat shape allowing her to fit into the tiniest crevices, you two had an ability as well. You could inflate your various body parts by blowing into a small hole on your right hand's thumb. After a short moment you'd almost call perfect, Jax retreated his head, his smile going from ear to ear. Nah, how's that for character development? You're blushing so hard that your face was practically glowing. Why did you do that? Ah, come on. I can literally see in your eyes that you liked it. Shyly, you tipped your fingers together. I mean, yeah, I just didn't expect it. That's what backed me up yesterday. You gulped as you remembered the threat you gave Kane. It was then that plates suddenly appeared on the tables. They were covered in grilled meat, with a large serving of garlic butter on their own separate plates in the middle. "It's all you can eat, by the way!" shouted Kane over the ambience of the talking mannequins. Still feeling very flustered, you started eating next to Jax. You felt strange. You never felt this way about him before. It was as if him kissing you opened up so many doors you weren't aware were there to begin with. You didn't remember your time in reality, though you definitely were aware that this wasn't real. But you are certain that you never experienced romantic love. Judging by just how new and unfamiliar this had felt. The food was stereotypical for the digital circus. Unseasoned, and the garlic butter, even though it smelled and looked just like it, tasted like regular unsalted butter. But food was still food, and in the vain hope that maybe Kane would try more filler adventures in the future, you powered through the tasteless meat. It was so much better than having to deal with a monster. As you continued eating, the moon started rising above the digital circus's ground. She winked at Kane, making the ringmaster all flustered. "Is it time yet, Kane?" she asked seductively. Kane's teeth chattered excitedly. Floating above the stone platform, he got everyone's attention. "The moon is right! It is time!" And as he raised his cane above his head, the unmistakable noise of fireworks was heard as they zoomed up into the sky. Colorful explosions followed mere seconds later. Their eyes widened. "Oh, sparks fly! Now I get it!" shouted Kinger. "Okay, seriously, what else did you think it was gonna be? An insect collection?" "Of course." You were so busy staring up at the sky that you didn't notice Jax biting his lower lip. With everyone distracted like this was an opportunity he didn't want to waste. "Hey, Butter, He whispered into your ear, making you shiver before he grabbed your hand. I just had a fun idea. With a racing heart, you allowed Jax to take you away into the woods as the fireworks exploded all around you. Bathed in the rainbow lights, he gently pushed you against one of the trees, with one hand placed against the bark, while his other was gently nestled on your hip. You blushed, looking up into his yellow eyes. Don't you just think this moment is perfect to fool around in? After all, Kane is distracted. I doubt we will get interrupted. A pink light illuminated your faces for a moment, before it turned dark again. And even though you had a little more time to prepare, feeling him kiss you again still felt so surprising. His lips were soft and wet. This time he was less daring, however, like himself was unsure where tonight would lead, though the bunnyman certainly knew where he would like it to end. You closed your eyes, enjoying his tender touches. Not feeling any resistance from you, Jax quickly got bolder. Your tongue prodded at your lips. His tongue prodded at your lips, and with a smirk you allowed him passage. Your organs intertwined deliciously. Even though the two of you had just partaken in a meat feast, his salvia tasted like sweet carrots, probably the result of the digital circus meddling with Jax's biology. But either way, it was freaking delicious. The slimy feeling of his tongue in your mouth made your heart beat even faster. Your body was heating up quickly. You could barely contain your excitement. You wanted more. You wanted him. And so, as the two of you were making out, you reached for the big round buttons on your dress, slowly unbuttoning them. Jack's eyes widened as he noticed your exposed chest before him. With a deliciously sinful smile on his lips, his hands took hold of your orbs. His lips pulled away from yours, a string of salvia connecting your wet mouths. You inflated them, didn't you? He asked in a cheeky, seductive tone.
Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.
Special thanks to my lovely darlings, Sings, X3, Melofia, Lavender Cheese, Muffin, A Simp, Hella, Nexrist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful. Thank you for your continued support.